14th chapter, and we're at verse number 24. 1 Samuel 14 and verse 24. We've got, who's on the throne? Who's just made it to the throne of Israel?
Saul.
Saul. What does Saul's name mean? What?
He was asked for it?
One asked for. All right. It comes from the same word as Sheol, remember? Sheol and Saul. Sheol means the place asked about, which means the place of the departed spirit. Okay. What's the word now? You know, we have in the cults we have a great controversy. Almost every one of them that started in the late 1700s and early 1800s. Every one of them did try to do away with the hell, and they tried to start this idea of soul sleeping. And so they said Quiver and Sheol were the same, but they're not. What's the difference?
One's a grave and
one of them's a grave you can dig, and Sheol is a place of departed spirits. And when you leave this world, you go there. When you die, when you close your eyes in death, the body closes its eyes and looks like it's sleeping. But your spirit, soul, is not sleeping. It goes to another place. It is transported. All right, to another place. All right, Sheol. So we got that Sheol out of the way.
Is that the bosom of Abraham, though?
What?
Does that have anything to do with the bosom of Abraham?
At that time, that's where they went.
Okay.
The bosom of Abraham was what was called Sheol. But the bosom of Abraham was paradise side of Sheol. Okay. Now, what's the Greek equivalent to Sheol? Hades. What's the Greek equivalent to grave? Quiver. Menivion. All right. Where we get our word memorial service. All right. So we may as well hit that one just a little bit. I want to drive that home because that's extremely important. Every cult tries to do away with the person of Jesus Christ and hell. That's the two basic things. They strike at the person of God, and they strike at eternal damnation. And I'm going to tell you what, if people aren't afraid of hell, they don't want to come to God. They basically say, well, if you're bad and you're no good, well, you're just going to go to sleep forever. Never wake up. But that's not what the Bible teaches, is it? You don't go to sleep forever. You go suffer forever. Forever and ever. Not only do you suffer forever, but right over yonder, what happens over here?
Separation.
That's for the resurrection of all the lost and dead. And they get to be resurrected in corrupted bodies, and they get those corrupted bodies get to go to hell forever. The resurrection of the lost, and then they go to the lake of fire. All right. That's double bad. But they don't believe in any of that. So they just kind of take the fear out of God. Take the fear out of God. All right, we ended yet last week with verse number what? 24?
24.
Okay. 23, so the Lord, we don't have Louise here today to read the words from the, anybody, Bill, do you have your, anybody have your Sacred Name Bible?
I loaned it to a guy.
You did?
Well, it wasn't, I've known him for 35 years, so. He,
Did you show him your gun collection before you loaned it to him?
no, I read it.
Okay.
No, he knows to bring it back.
All right. All right. All right. So Jehovah delivered Israel that day, and the battle spread throughout Beth Aven. All right. And then verse number 24. Verse number 24. David. Yeah, the other David.
Now the men of Israel were hard pressed on that day, for Saul had put the people under oath, saying, "Cursed be the man who eats food before evening, and until I have avenged myself on my enemies."
All right. Now, Saul, you know, when he was first picked out to be the king of Israel, he was okay. He was bashful, backward, so to speak. He would hardly talk. He hid. He was a big man, but he hid. And he was what we call shy.
Introvert.
Yeah. But now he wants to be out in the front all the time. And he wants to appear to be religious. He wants to appear to be religious, but actually he was not religious, he was superstitious. There's a whole lot of difference between religion and superstition. All right? This is religion versus superstition. All right? He was not religious, he was superstitious. So now we have a fool leading the people of Israel, making foolish vows. One man says he had no faith or heart to honor God at all. Saul's character steadily begins to deteriorate. Now, he goes, one writer also said he made a foolish oath and a lame excuse for doing it. All right? A foolish oath with a lame excuse for doing it. What he did, he was superstitious. He was superstitious. And he looked for good luck charms. Now, we're going to see that his son, Jonathan, all right, Jonathan, remember? Remember Jonathan? Remember him? All right. What does Jonathan mean?
A friend of many or something?
What?
A friend of many?
Jehovah is given, or Jehovah gives. All right, that's what Jonathan means. All right. Now, Jonathan, when he went out and fought the battle, he asked the Lord's blessing, and he set out there with faith. He fought in faith, and he trusted the Lord to take care of him. Simple as that. He just went by faith, stepped out there in faith, and asked the Lord to be with him, and he conquered. And then Saul tries to take honor from Jonathan and try to say, well, I did it. Jonathan is the one that fought the battle in faith. So now let's go on here. Now the men of Israel were hard-pressed on that day, and Saul had put the people under a tremendous oath. All right? It's more of a good luck charm. Cursed be the man who eats food. And by the way, this is what basically what many of the people in paganism did. They wouldn't eat until they got something accomplished. Remember one time now, how many of you ever had a contract out on your life? Anybody here besides me? A contract. Yeah. I mean a contract out for somebody to kill you. All right? Now, one time the Apostle Paul had a contract on him, and the people swore that they wouldn't eat or drink until they killed him. All right? Now, basically, this went on in paganism a whole lot. The Jews borrowed it too. All right. Cursed be a man who eats anything before the evening. Actually, the evening was what time? When did the next day begin? At 6 o'clock p.m. the next day began. So they couldn't eat until evening, which was 6 o'clock p.m. They couldn't eat until that period of time. Out when you're out fighting a battle, any of you ever been in the army? Anybody ever been in the army around here? Been in the army? If you're out working real hard, and you go out and work, especially when you're under tremendous stress and under fire, and you've been out there and you've been fighting like this, when you get through and when you finally relax and sit down, what happens to you? All right, you just wore out. You need something to eat, something to fortify you, to refuel you, okay? And Saul, he says, now they're out here fighting his battle. Now he tells them you can't have anything to eat until tomorrow, until after 6 o'clock. All right? What a foolish vow to begin with.
Weakened his army.
Huh?
He weakened his army.
He weakened his army, disarmed his army. All right? Until I avenged myself, middle voice, on my enemies. So none of the people tasted food. And all the people of the land entered the forest. And there was honey on the ground in the forest. Honey on the ground. Okay? It was probably how many of you ever seen a wild bee's nest? Anybody? All right, you've seen a couple of you here have seen a wild bee nest. And sometimes if it gets real hot or something, it'll drip honey out. Okay? And when the people entered the forest, behold, there was a flow of honey. Okay? Wild honey, wild bees. But no man put his hand to his mouth, for the people feared Saul's oath. Okay? Now here the people are hungry. Okay? He tried to appear religious, all right. Verse number 27 now. Brother David Ash. Are you there at verse number 27?
But Jonathan had not heard his father charge the people with the oath. Therefore he stretched out the end of the rod that was in his hand and dipped it in a honeycomb, and put his hand to his mouth, and his countenance brightened.
All right, his eyes brightened. What happened here? What do you think happened to him, Brad?
Some energy.
He got some energy. He was wore completely out. The man had been fighting. While Saul was sitting back, the men were out fighting. Okay? And now, his eyes had brightened. He was rejuvenated. Then one of the people answered and said, your father strictly put the people under the oath. What does the word oath mean, by the way? You know what the word oath means?
Like a promise?
Yeah, but it literally, you know what it literally means? I've told you sometimes in classes. It means you, fenced yourself in. That's what it means. An oath means to fence yourself in. That's what it literally means in the original language, is to fence yourself in. In other words, you can't go a boundary. You've set a boundary. God swore by an oath. He fenced himself in. You know why you're saved by grace? It's because God's oath. He fenced himself in. Once you've been saved, you've been saved, period. All right. All right. Under the oath, fencing himself, cursed be the man who eats food today, and the people were weary. Now, what does Jonathan say here, Brett? Have you got the Bible there? No? Yes?
I do have it right here. I just
Oh, you got it. Okay.
Which one?
14:29. Somebody's got it open. Rex. 14:29.
Then Jonathan said, my father has troubled the land. See now how my eyes are brightened because I tasted a little of this honey.
All right. He said, my father has troubled the land. You know one thing about Jonathan? He was a real logical man. Logical and a man of faith. Now this is the kind of man his father should have been. Sometimes the apple falls a little further away from the tree, and this one did. In this, we're going to find, as Jonathan appears and he uses good sense and faith in God, we find a polarity taking place. Two lines start gravitating, one toward Saul by himself and one toward Jonathan, and then who becomes Jonathan's best friend?
David.
David. And who's going to be the next king of Israel? David. So we see the polarity of these. The poles are separated. There's a division. Okay? A division. All right. My eyes brightened because I tasted a little of this honey, in verse number 30. How much more if only the people had eaten freely today? What is he saying here? My dad's a fool. That's what he said. Now he's not doing it derogatorily, but he's trying to protect the people of Israel, God's people. His father wasn't thinking of the people, was he? He was thinking of who? Himself. It was his good luck charm. He wasn't religious, but he was what? Superstitious. All right.
Okay, he's a classic example, Jim, of a man that cannot handle authority or fame.
Yes.
Some people just can't handle authority.
Yeah. Saul could not have authority. He could not handle authority. When he finally was given authority, he might have been a good man before, but now he becomes corrupt. And he is asking these people to do things that are not for their best interest. You know, when you've got a boss that always looks out for your best interest, you got good boss, don't you? That's the kind of boss men will follow. They'll follow that kind of man. All right, number 30 now. Number 30. How much more if the people had eaten freely today and the spoil of their enemies which they found, for now the slaughter among the Philistines has not been great. All right? All right, verse number 31. Verse number 31, 14th chapter of 1 Samuel. Sister Andino, are you there?
No, Brother Phillips.
Are you there? Oh, you're not. Okay. Brother Bill.
Now they had driven back the Philistines that day from Michmash to Ajalon, so the people were very faint.
Okay, the people were wore out. They were wore out. Now, what do you do when you're real wore out? You want something to eat, don't you? Now look and see what Saul calls them to do. Okay? Let's look and see what Saul calls. Look and see what he calls. All right? And the people rushed greedily upon the spoil, and took sheep and oxen and calves, and slew them on the ground, and the people ate them raw.
Blood.
Raw. They weren't cooked. They were raw. They didn't even wait to cook them. They were so hungry, they ate it. I remember, some of you might have read the book Shadow of an Indian Star. My great-great-great-grandfather, one time, when he came upon my uncle, J. Pawnee, which was basically the spiritual leader, a preacher among the Chickasaw Nation, and a bear was killing him. Well, Smith Paul, my great-great-great-grandfather, had been several days without eating any food. He was out of food, and he hadn't run into any game. And he only had 2 bullets left. All right? And he saw this Indian being mauled by this big bear. So he shot the bear, first of all, with his flintlock rifle. Okay? And the bear took off and run off a little bit, and then it came at him. Now, the adrenaline was running, and he slammed more powder down that barrel and put a shot in it, his last shot. And when he got right there, right to him, he almost put the bullet, the barrel of the gun in the bear's mouth and pulled the trigger. And the bear just fell over backwards. And he was just shaking all over. I mean, he was so hungry. And it took every last bit of energy and adrenaline he had to do what he did. And then he quickly butchered the bear, trying to find out what's the part that I can eat, because he was fainting. He was so hungry. And he took some of the hump off the bear, and he just barely cooked it. He said it was pretty much raw still when he ate it, and it made him sick. And he laid there all night long just groaning because it had made him sick. Because he had gorged himself. He was so starved. When you go without food for days and you eat a great big meal, it's about, if this ever happens to you and you go without food for several days, eat a little bit. And then eat a little bit more later, okay? Because it'll make you sick. Well, these people were so hungry, they rushed greedily upon the spoil because they were starving. They were famished. They were shaking. Probably some of them had low blood sugar. Haven't any of that ever had that? That's hard on you, boy. I shook so hard one time with the diabetic shock that I hurt for days. My muscles shook all over. And they ate it with the blood. Now, it doesn't mean they were drinking the blood. It means they ate it raw.
That was against the law too, wasn't it?
It was, but they were starving. Now, he had caused them to sin. It was not them sinned. It is Saul that caused them to sin because they were ravished. They were hungry. And now look at Saul. Look at Saul now. He's standing up and making his lame excuse now. All right. Are you there, Dennis? Yeah. Okay, verse number 33.
Then they told Saul, saying, "Look, the people are sinning against the Lord by eating with the blood."
That raw meat.
So he said, "You have dealt treacherously. Roll a large stone to me this day."
All right. You've acted treacherously. Now, are you there, Luis, there in,
Which one's 1 Samuel?
in 1 Samuel 14 and verse 33. 14 and verse 33. Who did they sin against there?
Jehovah.
Jehovah. All right. They've sinned against Jehovah, the covenant God of Israel. Now, who caused them to sin like that? Who got them to the point they would eat raw meat because they were so hungry? Saul did. Now Saul jumps up and tries to put on his religion. He tries to do a patch-up job here. This is what we call the lame excuse. Okay, the lame excuse. Brother Floyd? Brother Floyd.
34?
Yeah, number 35.
Number 35.
Okay.
34.
Oh, no, 34. 34.
And Saul said, "Despise yourselves among the people, and say to them, Let every man bring his ox or his sheep, and slay them here, and eat, and do not sin against the Lord by eating with the blood." So every one of the people brought his ox and with him that night, and slew them there.
Now, in verse number 35, it tells you more of the character of Saul. It sounds very innocent here. Who was supposed to offer the sacrifices? Was it the king of Israel?
Priest.
Huh?
Priest.
The priest. Now Saul wants to be priest and king. Oh, this is the death penalty right here. I'm telling you what he's doing now. This is the death penalty. Okay? And this is the end of him, to tell you the truth. He makes one more final... He's going to go from superstition into witchcraft too, by the way. All the way from superstition to witchcraft. Now let's see what he's doing here. Linda, are you there? Number 36?
Now Saul said, let us go down after the Philistines by night and plunder them until the morning light, and let us not leave a man with them.
Okay. Now what did he say here in verse number 35 before this? He's got another good luck charm here.
He built the altar.
You build an altar.
He built an altar. He shouldn't have built an altar. So after he built the altar, which he wasn't supposed to do, okay, then he said, we're going to go down and we're going to conquer. Because he had his good luck charm now. He's all right again. First of all, he stuck the people's neck out where they shouldn't have been stuck out. They should have been allowed to eat when they fought the battles. I mean, that's what you do. You eat after you fight. Okay? Even the army, the Marines have cave rations. And they don't keep them from eating. All right? Saul built an altar to the Lord. It was the first altar that he built to the Lord. All right? All right, and then Saul said, let us go down to the Philistines by night and take spoil among them until the morning light, and let us not leave a man of them. And they said, do whatever seems good to you. So the priest said, let us draw near to God here. All right? And Saul inquired of God. Now, he's still not quite. He wants a little bit more help. When Jonathan went into the battle, what did he do?
He prayed to God.
He prayed to God and just went, didn't he? He prayed to God and said, God bless me, and he just went. Now, Saul's got to have another answer before he goes and does this. It's not enough. All right? So Saul inquired of God, shall I go down after the Philistines? Now he said, let's go do it. Now he asked God if it's okay. All right? Will you give them into the hand of Israel? But he did not answer him on that day. Didn't answer him. What do you think about that? Joseph, you got a Bible there? All right. Yeah, you got a Bible there? Number 38. Verse number 1438. 1438. We'll get him on here. We'll let the world hear that boy's voice.
And Saul said, draw ye near hither all the chief of the people, and now notice and see where is the sin hath been revealed.
Okay, now, God's not answering me. Let's see who sinned. We're going to find out who the sinner is. Remember in AI, remember back in AI? Remember Achan sinned, didn't he? Yeah, back in AI. Well, now Saul says here, he said, oh, let's go find out who the sinner is here. Let's find out who the sinner is.
Just kidding.
Huh?
Just kidding.
All right. Okay, David.
Were we 39 now?
Yeah, 39.
For as the Lord lives, who delivers Israel, though it is in Jonathan my son, he shall surely die.
All right.
But not one of all the people answered him.
All right. The people didn't want to answer. Who do you think was their hero? Jonathan. It wasn't Saul. Saul hadn't done anything yet. It was Jonathan who had gone out and won the battles. And Saul's trying to take account. He's trying to take account. He's trying to take his place. He's trying to take the honor, the glory away from his son. If this is my son, I'll kill him. He don't care anything about the boy. He's jealous of him. Looking for an excuse to kill his son. All right? Luis, number 40.
Then said he unto all Israel, ye shall be on one side, and I, Jonathan, my son, will be on the other side. And the people said unto Saul, what is good in thy eyes do?
Okay, just go ahead and see what happens. Verse number 41. Pam, are you there?
Therefore Saul said to the Lord God of Israel, give a perfect lot. So Saul and Jonathan were taken, the people escaped.
All right. All right, give a perfect lot. Now, Louise, read that in verse 41 also, because this is good. This is...
And Saul said unto Jehovah, O Elohim of Israel.
Uh-huh.
Now set
Jehovah,
forth
O
the
Elohim,
truth.
the God of Israel. All right. Jehovah, O Elohim of Israel. And then Jonathan and Saul were taken, but the people escaped. All right. And verse number 42 now. Let's look at verse number 42. Mike.
And Saul said, cast lots between me and Jonathan, my son, and Jonathan was taken.
All right. Now, here, now. This is the perfect excuse now for Saul to get rid of his competition. All right? His competition is his son, but he's the one that's winning the battles, not Saul. Okay? So what in the world happened? Then Saul said to Jonathan, tell me what you have done. He should have looked at himself and saw what he had done. All right? So Jonathan told him and said, I indeed tasted a little honey with the end of the staff that was in my hand. Here I am, I must die. Go ahead and kill me now. For your foolish oath, kill me. All right. And Saul said, may God do this to me also. You surely shall die, Jonathan. He's going to kill him. He's going to execute his son. And he's the one that won the battle. All right. What a guy. Brother Bill. Or Joanne, are you over there?
Sure.
All right. 45.
But the people broke in and said to Saul, should Jonathan, who saved Israel today, die? Far from it. As surely as the Lord lives, not one hair on his head will be touched, for he has been used of God to do a mighty miracle today. So the people rescued Jonathan, and he was not put to death.
Saul didn't get the glory, did he? He tried to press the point. He tried to take the glory, and the people said plainly, don't you kill that boy. He's the one that won the battle, not you, Saul. He's the one that won this battle. All right. Number 46, and then Saul went up from pursuing the Philistines, and the Philistines went to their own place. Now, when Saul had taken the kingdom over Israel, he fought against all his enemies on every side, against Moab and the sons of Ammon. Now remember, Moab and Ammon, now who are these? Who are the Moabites and the Ammonites? You remember who it is?
Moabites are, is that Lot's?
Lots.
The Lot's son. What does Moab mean? Remember I told you that?
The semen from your dad.
Semen from my father. Water from my father. That's what it means. Oh, what a name, the name of son, isn't it? Weird people. All right, but that shows what they were. Now this is Abraham's nephew. When they went into the land, he wouldn't let them attack them to begin with because they were relatives. But now they show what they really are. Okay, so now we're going to take care of it. All right. Fought against the Moabites, and Ammon, and Edom. Look at Edom there. Who's Edom? Who ends up, Edom ends up being on the throne of Israel in the time Jesus was born. Boy, what an ungodly mess. The devil, he never lays down, doesn't he? The devil's always going, yes.
You know, it said that they respond, if the vote was by Urim and Thummim.
Yeah.
So isn't that God speaking though?
God just told them what had happened. It was Jonathan, all right. But then the people protected Jonathan because he was the real hero. Wasn't Saul? What Saul wasn't the hero.
I know, but why didn't God tell them that through the Urim and Thummim?
I think that he inspired the people to protect it. Well, all they did was ask for an answer. Who had done the thing? Who had broke the oath? And God let them know that Jonathan broke the oath, but he's also the one that won the battle. He broke the oath all right, but it was a foolish oath and a lame excuse for it. All right? That wasn't God inspiring Saul to do this, people. God didn't ask the people to do that. Saul did. Okay? Edom. All right, Edom, that's who? That's Esau. Esau was called Edom, wasn't he? Are you learning a little something in this thing? Okay. And the kings of Zobah and the Philistines, and wherever he turned, he inflicted punishment. All right? And he acted valiantly And he defeated the Amalekites and delivered Israel from the hands of those who plundered them. All right? Now let's look at some, yes, Brother Bill.
Going back to verse 47 here, Ransom, I'm taking that as he got greedy, Jim, that he was looking for more land. And not only was he not a good king and become self-centered, but he became greedy.
Well,
he's harassing everybody that's around him.
You know, that's God's permissive will. This is God's permissive. Now, these people had plagued Israel, hadn't they? All right? They had plagued Israel. And God was allowing Saul to do his will. To get back. To do his... Israel picked Saul. His name means asked for. God told them that when you ask for... I'm your king. When you ask for a king, he's going to use you, he's going to abuse you, he's going to tax you, he's going to use your children, he's going to take your children in war and all this kind of stuff. He said, this is what's going to happen. Okay? And now, we see this. But it's his permissive will. His permissive will. Is it God's will that there should be wars all over the world all the time? No. God don't want to see a bunch of, especially children and killed like that. My wife was reading something to me this morning out of a history book. She said in California, when the Californios came into here, when the Americans came to California in the 1840s, between 1840 and 1850, they murdered and genocide on the California Indians. They killed 50% of the Indian population in California in 10 years. 50% of the population was killed. You think that's God's will, that they kill 50% of these people?
They killed a lot of Chinese
That happened.
whites too.
Huh?
They killed a lot of Chinese whites too.
Oh yeah, they killed a lot of people. It was called genocide. Ethnic cleansing. That happened. God allowed it. He didn't kill all of them, but do you think it's God's will that they killed and decimated and genocide like that? Talk about genocide. All right, now, verse 449. Now let's look at some of these words, okay? How do you like words? My teacher used to teach me. And what did he tell me? You remember Sister Andino, what Brother Hubbard used to say? He said, study what? Study words, young man, study words. I think Mike picked that up too back there. He liked words, don't you, Mike? Yes, sir. Words. All right. Now the sons of Saul, the name of Saul. All right. Saul means asked for. Word Jonathan. All right. Look at the word Jonathan. Now, I'm going to tell you something. Some of these words here, they're in this. You can't find them in any of your dictionaries. I don't know why they don't put them in there. I had to look them up in Hebrew. Okay? Because you can't get it in any English translation. I don't know why. I don't know whether they didn't know how or what. Okay? All right, Jonathan means Jehovah is given or Jehovah gives. All right? Or Jehovah supplies. Okay? Jonathan. And then it says the sons of Saul were Jonathan and then Ishvi. Does anybody know what Ishvi means? Ishvi? Help, Brother Mike, you're taking Hebrew on Sunday afternoon. How about Ishvi? What do you think it might mean?
I wasn't here that day, but it probably has to do with man is part of it.
All right.
I don't know what B would be.
Man. All right. God created man in his what? In his image. All right. He created him in his image. He created man in his image. It said in his shadow casting likeness and his blood flowing likeness and his spiritual likeness he created man. All right. Now Ishvi, as far as I can tell, if you want to go to Brown Driver and Briggs and look up on page 1001, okay, because it gives you this word no place else. All right. So I went and looked it up in Hebrew, and in Hebrew it means to make like, or to make similar to something. And if you think about the word ben in Hebrew, ben.
Son of the right-hand man.
Ben. All right, that's it. Ben in Hebrew means what?
Son of the right-hand man.
Son of it.
What?
Son of the right-hand
The
man.
son of.
All right?
Right-hand man.
After a pattern. That's what it means. After a pattern. Okay? That's what the word Ben means.
What's that got to do with Ishbi?
Huh? Well, here we have, now I'm about to tell you. You got your pen out now? Better write this down because you're not going to get it anyplace else. All right? I couldn't find it anywhere else. I had to go to Hebrew. It means to make like or similar to. All right? That's what Ishvi means, to make like or similar to. All right? Jonathan means Jehovah is given, and then Ishvi means to make like or similar to, and then the name of the other one was Mal-Chishua. All right? Mal-Chishua. All right? What in the world? What?
You mean Ben like the name Ben?
Yes, Ben.
Well, I thought that meant right-hand man.
Benjamin means son of the right hand. Benjamin.
that-
All right. It comes from the word Ben, son of the right hand. Benjamin.
Probably named that because he looked like Saul.
Well, maybe it be to make like. Okay. And then we have the word Mal-Chishua. Mal-Chishua. All right. What's the word for king in Hebrew? Anybody remember?
What does Joshua mean?
All right. There you go. You're getting there. All right. What? Now we have Shua here. All right. And then Malki-Shua. Malki-Shua. Malek means what in Hebrew? King. All right. And what it means here is Jehovah is king.
Like Melchizedek?
Well, the God of the King of righteousness. Melchi. All right. This one here is king. Jehovah is king. Okay, Jehovah is king. Now I had to look that one up too. That one's another one that they left out. All right. Jehovah is king, and the names of his daughters were, the firstborn was Merab. What in the world do you think that might mean? That's increase. Increase. And the name of the younger was Michal. Michael, what do you think that means? That's feminine for Michael. Uh-huh. All right, and that means who is like God. Who is like God? Michal. All right.
And she became David's wife.
Uh-huh. Yeah, that's right. And this is the one that became David's wife. All right, thank you.
Does it mean like God or is it who question
Who is
mark?
like God is what it means. Who is like God. You got a good name, Michael. Good name. Couldn't have a better name than that, could you? You can make it, you're even named after an archangel. That means the head angel, Michael. All right? That's the feminine word for Michael. All right? Verse number 50 now. Let's look at this. Verse number 50. We're going to finish this chapter today. And the name of Saul's wife was Ahinoam. And Cain used this. He said, am I my brother's keeper? Ahinoam. All right? Am I my brother's keeper? It means pleasant brother. That's what that means, pleasant brother. Okay? And the daughter of Ahimaaz. All right? Ahimaaz. All right? Ahimaaz. Knowledge. All right? Powerful. Powerful warrior, Ahimaaz. And the name of the captain of his army was Abner. All right, Abner. Abner. What does Abner mean? Abner. What about Abner? Abba. Abba. Father. Father. That's Hebrew for father. All right. Abner. Think about that word. Abner. Father of lights. Father of light. All right. Ben-Ner. Ben-Ner. Son of Ner. What does Ner mean? Come on now, guys. You paying attention? Have light. All right. All right. His name is Light. Saul's uncle. All right. His uncle is called Light. All right. In Greek, All right? In Greek, it would be phos. And the name for light in Greek is phos, and the name of a person that his name means light is photios. All right? And the English name of photios is Frank.
Enlightened.
Frank means light. And the feminine term of Frank is what? Francis. All right, Francis. Yes, brother.
Hey, have you ever thought about Benjamin Franklin? His name means the enlightened right-hand man.
Yeah. Light and right-hand man, Benjamin Franklin. Yes, yeah, that's it. Light and the son of the right hand and light. All right. All right, now number 51. And Kish. All right, Kish. And Kish was the father of Saul. Kish means what? Remember what Kish means?
Kish.
Uh-huh. It means bow or strength. All right? Strength and bow. All right? We got warriors and the father of Saul. And Ner, the father of Abner, was the son of Abiel. All right? Abiel. Okay? Abiel. And Abiel means what? Abiel. Let's look at that. It's got Abba in it, doesn't it? What else has got in it?
It'll be great.
God.
big.
Hate,
That'll be
great,
God.
or might, or God. All right? Here we have it. Let's look at this. Abiel. All right, here's an Abba. All right? And then El is like this. Abba. What does that mean?
God, Father.
All right. All right, the ABL means father of the might or father of God. Okay? Father of might or father of God. Verse number 52. Verse number 52. Louise, can you read that one for me?
And the war was severe against the Philistines all the days of Saul. And whosoever saw any mighty man or any son of valor, he drew him unto himself.
All right, he was superstitious, wasn't he? So when he saw a mighty valor, a man of valor or strength or courage, he said, come here with me. Come on with me. All right? And we'll start right there next week. All right?
That's like picking the best guys for your baseball team. I'm sure you're going to win.
Yeah.
You know?
You know what? Remember one time in the nation of Israel when they were fighting out there, there was one guy, one great warrior, and he was kind of a timid man, and he got a lot of people to go with him. And they were going to fight the battle, and God kept lowering the numbers that he was going to go out and win the battle with. Remember that person?
Gideon.
Huh?
Gideon.
Yeah. Gideon. Yeah. Gideon went out there, and he finally ended up with just a few people, and they went out and won the battle. David is always
the river.
Huh?
He had him drink
They
from the
had to
river.
pick up water and drink it out of their hands so they could look for everybody. They didn't bend over and look down. They always looked up, and they picked water up and they took it out of their hands so they were looking. They were always
And they kept
stopping.
their swords and their shields too.
Yeah.
They didn't set them down.
All right. Well, next week we'll start verse number 15, and then we're going to get into David, and then we're going to start going real quickly through the prophets. And if you've got that one, the survey, the Bible survey that did Old and New Testament survey, take that and read it, because that's we're going to kind of go by that. Now, basically, also we're on page 300. And how many of you are really studying your Bible in 8 Ages book, your textbook? We're on page 314 of that. All right. I know Joanne's doing it. Joanne, he hadn't given your book away yet, has he?
No,
He did, but he got me another one.
Oh, he almost got killed.
I peek at the answers. She doesn't more than I come through.
We see that you're still breathing, Bill, so we know better than that, don't we? All right. 314 in that, and we're on page 65, I think. 65 in your syllabus. And if you need a syllabus, you can get one from me. But we're going to we're going deeper than what the syllabus goes. Okay? But we're going to kind of follow all along, so you'll have a lot of material to study with. Are you enjoying this?
Oh, it's great, Jim.
Well, we'll start there in 15 and verse 1 next week. All right. Do you have any questions about it before I give this over here to David?
The beloved one, get up there.
All right, David. Have that.
Beloved one.
Okay, on our prayer list today, Pam would like us to pray for Raymond and David King, or wants us to pray for their salvation. Dave would like to give blessings for a new baby girl, Allison,
Oh, wow.
and a granddaughter. And SB would like us to pray for Jessica, who's ill.
Now, he's got a